This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning. Welcome into you on this Friday. I'm Rebecca Smith.
And I'm Bill Bryant. It's so good to have you with us. Here it is March 4th, and we're still easing towards spring. We're going to get there.
We are going to get there. It's the 20th, technically, March 20th. Now at 6 a.m., two of the three Republican presidential candidates trailing Donald Trump go on the attack. Highlights from last night's GOP debate.
And of course, the race for the White House turns its attention to Kentucky tomorrow. We are live to explain what you need to know about tomorrow's Republican caucus.
And we now have a date for when part of I-75 in Tennessee will reopen after a major rock slide.
And a few flakes are flying out there again this morning, not quite as intense as what we had yesterday. You can see them moving through northern, northeastern sections of the Commonwealth, maybe a tenth of an inch, maybe up to an inch in some spots. That's not a big deal, and we're warming up in the 7-day. I'll track all of it coming up.
All right, improvements are on the way. Let's get to the news.
Well, the first GOP debate since Super Tuesday turned into a virtual shouting match with two of the three candidates trailing Donald Trump, just really throwing jabs at him.
Ohio Governor John Kasich, though, proclaimed himself the only adult on the Detroit debate stage last night as he stayed out of the arguing. Senators Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio are trying desperately to derail Trump's momentum. Ted Cruz accused Trump of bankrolling liberal politicians. Marco Rubio was asked why he has gone negative in recent weeks.
If there's anyone who's ever deserved to be attacked that way, it's been Donald Trump.
He referred to my hands. If they're small, something else must be small. I guarantee you there's no problem. I guarantee it.
Donald Trump has written checks to Hillary Clinton, not once, not twice, not 3 times, 10 times.
The last person that Hillary Clinton wants to face is Donald Trump.
Not only did Trump field attacks from inside the Fox Theater, but outside as well. Protesters chanted, "Dump Trump." Despite the heated exchanges during last night's debate, Trump's Republican presidential rivals all said they will support him if he wins the GOP nomination. Now, Kentuckians will have a chance to weigh in on the presidential race tomorrow, at least the Republicans.
Yeah, definitely. We've been telling you about this year's Republican caucus for months now. Still, there are a lot of questions that you may have about how this exactly works. Mark Barber is at our live desk this morning to explain.
Fill us in, Mark. Good morning.
Good morning, Bill and Rebecca. Well, it has been 32 years since Kentucky has had a caucus, so this is highly unusual for voters here. While it will present some major differences, for the most part, voters will still feel like they're voting in a primary. When registered Republicans get to their caucus location tomorrow, they can vote immediately or stay a while. Representatives for the candidates will be there to answer questions, and the candidates themselves could also show up unexpectedly. Two other big differences in the caucus are where you vote and when you vote. Caucus locations will be open from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. As far as where you vote, dozens of voting precincts are being funneled down into just 4 caucus locations in Lexington. Of course, smaller counties only have 1 caucus location. So why is the first caucus here in Kentucky in more than 3 decades happening now? Well, it has to do with a Kentucky senator who is no longer even on the presidential ballot. We'll explain why the caucus was put into place to accommodate Senator Rand Paul coming up at 6:30. From the live desk, Mark Barber, WKYT.
Thank you, Mark. We have a complete guide to understanding the Kentucky Republican caucus on WKYT.com. Be sure to join us tomorrow night at 7 as the first results are released. We'll have live special coverage right here on WKYT.
And, of course, throughout the day, so we hope you'll join us, especially for that report tomorrow night at 7. Now, you may run into a few slick roads this morning. Overall, though, the warm weather is improving from yesterday. The Bluegrass was hit with a quick round of snow in Montgomery County. Look at that. I-64 had to be shut down for a while because of numerous crashes around Mount Sterling. One man told us the road started getting slick on his way home from work. His car ended up in a ditch. Police say no serious injuries were reported in any of the crashes there. Deputies in Johnson County also asked people to stay off the roads after several inches of snow fell there. They worked several crashes caused by the weather. Johnson County schools are among the school districts closed today. And you can find a complete list of school closings and delays on WKYT.com or by downloading the free WKYT News app.
Well, the state of Kentucky is suing another women's clinic, this time in Lexington. The decision comes as the state Senate committee has approved a bill that would make it more difficult for new abortion clinics to open. WKYT's Michelle Chamberlain is live for us to explain.
The EMW clinic here behind me on Burt Road in Lexington is the clinic the Governor Matt Bevin's administration is suing, claiming they perform abortions without having a license. Now, this comes one day before today, which is about a bill that would apply to new Kentucky abortion clinics. The bill would apply to abortion clinics that are licensed after July 1st. The new clinics would have to meet stricter medical standards before opening. The bill, which has cleared a state Senate committee, would require abortion clinics to get a certificate of need from state regulators. The clinics would also have to meet the standards of an ambulatory surgery center. Now, news of the bill comes after Bevin's administration claims inspectors found expired medication and some unsanitary conditions here inside the EMW Women's Clinic. Now, the clinic has not made a comment. The state wants a judge to order the clinic to stop performing abortions until it is licensed to do so. Live in Lexington, Michelle Chamberlain, WKYT.
New on WKYT this morning, a Central Kentucky mother is in jail accused of hiding drugs from her teenage daughter, on her teenage daughter, I should say. The Boyle County Sheriff's Office says Tanya Davis was pulled over after leaving the Super 8 motel in Danville. Her 15-year-old daughter was with her. Deputies say a police canine found drugs in the car. They later found about 2 grams of crystal meth in the teenager's pants. Davis is facing a list of charges.
Family members of 5 people, including an unborn child, killed in a Clay County crash, say they are relieved now that a local grand jury has indicted the man who police say caused it. Police say Jason Gibson was high on drugs when his car crashed into another car on the Hal Rogers Parkway back in December. Judy Pennington Adams, her pregnant granddaughter Tiffany, Tiffany's son Kyson, and a family friend Charlene Lewis all died in that crash.
When I got the text that he had been indicted, it was like a huge weight had been lifted. Not that any type of punishment that he ever gets is going to be enough, because he took 5 precious lives.
The grand jury indicted Jason Gibson on murder, fetal homicide, and DUI charges. The federal government is now involved in an arson case involving a Winchester police cruiser. Police are working with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives. And on Monday, police say someone set a parked cruiser on fire. There's now a $1,500 reward for information leading to an arrest and conviction.
Well, we have an update this morning on that rock slide that had I-75 shut down in Tennessee. Continues to have. The Tennessee Department of Transportation released some video of work being done. The rock slide shut down I-75 just south of the Kentucky border. Crews expect to reopen the southbound lanes by March 17th and hope to have at least one northbound lane open by March 24th.
Now, your zone-by-zone forecast with meteorologist Jim Caldwell.
Once again, tracking snow across parts of the area. This time, not a big deal at all as far as what we were dealing with yesterday during the mid-morning and into the afternoon hours. That turned into a real mess. This will not. It'll just likely bring maybe a coating at best in most cases out there, and only a few counties impacted by this system. Now, yesterday was a whole different ball game. There you see the snow passing through northern Kentucky and northeast Kentucky as well. Some of it getting into Nicholas County, Fleming County, over into, looks like now, sections of Rowan County. This is kind of the targeted area for this, where we likely run into some generally light totals from this overall. Again, 1/10 of an inch or less. There might be some folks that get in on some higher stuff, but it won't be much higher than that. Up to a 1/2 inch, I'd say, would be best out of this system. It's going to be in and out rather quickly, just not a lot of moisture associated with it like yesterday's system. Here we go, hour by hour through the day. High pressure kind of pushing things on out of here. That's what's going to dry us up a little bit. Into the afternoon and evening, you'll see some sun, clouds. Looks a whole lot better. And we'll also track a frontal boundary into the area for your Saturday. Out ahead of this, notice there's a warm front, the part of it. With that high also escaping to our southeast, that's going to allow for a little shot of some southerly winds. That helps our temperatures out a whole lot, into the low 50s probably for daytime highs tomorrow. Probably by noontime, we're already in the upper 40s, close to 50 degrees. 1 o'clock, showers still passing through the area. We're into central Kentucky, and then they will hold on into the eastern mountains at that point as well. So we'll hold on to the rain chances. Beyond that, we get into a bit of a warm-up. So we talk about those daytime highs getting into the 50s during the daytime hours on Saturday. After starting out above freezing, We go beyond that, and we'll likely see our temperatures jump not only into the 50s, but probably into the 60s into next week. With a big area of high pressure sitting off the east coast, what that's going to do is it's going to bring spring to us. Not only will it bring the warm temperatures, but a disturbance. Several of them will be riding along a zone that will set up for a very stormy period as we go into next week. Here's your 7-day forecast, and you can see what I mean by the stormy period. You get toward where those 70s are starting to show up, and that's where showers and thunderstorms will start rolling into the area. We'll get the 60s and 70s, but as I've said all morning, it will come at a high price to get that messy situation.
It will, but you know, maybe some of us will be happy to just pay the price.
That's right. Sunday and Monday look fantastic.
As long as it's, you know, mild and just some rain a little bit here and there.
That's what you need, yeah.
Each morning we bring you weather and traffic together, and here is a look at traffic right now. No major issues that we're hearing about, especially nothing like we've had yesterday with all that snow causing problems on the roadways, and then the day before that with a situation on I-75 at Paris Pike. Hey, you know what? It's pretty good for you for a Friday.
Yeah, it is looking good. Just a little bit of a slowdown. It looks like Richmond Road there at New Circle this morning, which of course is an area that's normally busy this time of day. It's a good ride in from Nicholasville, about 13 minutes. From Richmond, a half hour will about do it, and Winchester is a 25-minute ride in at the moment. So no reports of any major problems early this morning. Good to have you along on WKYT on your Friday with that weekend on the way, right around the corner now.
Oh, you can just smell it, can't you? Thousands of employees getting a big raise at Costco. Why they say they're raising their minimum wage.
And a Texas man is recovering after he says he was shot by a man who managed to escape in an unusual way. That story is coming up 6:11 now on WKYT.
Welcome back in at 6:15 this morning. The bad blood, we should say, among the candidates really just flowed freely at last night's Republican debate.
It was a tough one. Everybody expected it. Of course, in the end, they all said, though, they would support Donald Trump if he wins the GOP nomination. The sign of support followed a tumultuous day in which former GOP presidential nominee Mitt Romney called Trump a phony and a con man. Of course, a lot of pushback from Trump on that. Two protesters were at Donald Trump's Louisville rally on Tuesday, and they have filed police reports at this point. Both claim they were punched and shoved by Trump supporters in the crowd. One of the incidents was caught on video, and Louisville police say they are investigating and trying to identify the people responsible for the punching and shoving. Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders are putting the global economy on the center of their pitch to Democrats. The two traded charges about who would best represent American workers as their presidential campaign shifts to a series of Rust Belt primaries now. Clinton plans to deliver a policy address today in Detroit, outlining ways to remove economic barriers for families, and Sanders has accused her of supporting trade deals that have had disastrous consequences for workers.
North Korea's official news agency says leader Kim Jong-un has ordered his country to have its nuclear missiles ready for use at any moment's notice. On Wednesday, the United Nations slapped the country with the toughest sanctions in 20 years over its recent nuclear test and long-range rocket launch. Police in Dallas, Texas say a man was driving when he was shot by a man on a hoverboard. Police found the victim in a gas station. He was shot once in the arm. He told police that he was driving around because he couldn't sleep. The man on the hoverboard approached him and asked why he was being followed. Minutes later, he heard a gunshot.
The bullet that struck me actually went through the trunk of my car, and then it went through the back seat, and then lodged in my arm, which I had sitting on the armrest in the middle of the car.
The shooter has not been arrested. The victim says his mother told him to find a new way to deal with his insomnia.
Yeah, probably a good idea. 6:17 on WKYT this morning. Economists say that today's jobless figures will likely show that U.S. workers continue to be largely insulated from a global slowdown. Economists surveyed by the firm FactSet believe employers created about 195,000 jobs last month, and that would keep the unemployment rate at a low 4.9%. We'll see when that's released here in a couple of hours. In an unexpected plot twist, bookstores could be making a comeback. Barnes & Noble says its website and Nook e-readers are not doing as well as hoped, but business is booming at its physical bookstores. In fact, the retailer says it plans to launch 4 new prototype stores in the next fiscal year. An unexpected plot twist there. Well, Costco is raising wages for entry-level employees for the first time in 9 years. The minimum wage is $13 an hour now at the stores, and that is up by at least $1 per hour. The company's CFO says it was an important thing to do given the physical demands of entry-level work. Costco's highest paid employees make $22.50 an hour. Employees at the top of the pay scale will receive 2.5% pay raises this year. Well, Boeing has created a new bathroom for the germaphobe in all of us. The touchless system includes a hands-free toilet, faucet, and garbage can. When the bathroom is empty, ultraviolet light is used to kill germs. Boeing has filed a patent but says more studies are going to have to be done before it is offered on any of its flights. But there you go, Rebecca.
You know, it's good if they can only do something about those tray tables now, right?
Right.
They say those
yeah, exactly. They say those have lots of germs.
Yeah, they say those are like the dirtiest places on the plane, so we'll see.
Yep.
WKYT This Morning is just getting started. If the presidential candidate you support doesn't win, are you willing to move to another country? Coming up, why one town in Canada is ready to welcome you with open arms.
And we are getting a little Canadian weather out there this morning with the flakes flying across parts of Kentucky. Should be in and out of here rather quickly as warmer temperatures are targeted toward Kentucky. We'll track it coming up for you.
Welcome back in. 6:22 on WKYT This Morning.
Well, following last night's GOP presidential debate, the race for the White House now turns to Kentucky.
And that's what's trending at this hour. Kentucky's Republican Presidential Caucus is tomorrow. Voting hours will be from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. Saturday. There are 46 Kentucky delegates at stake.
Well, Kentucky Governor Matt Bevin has sued 2 abortion clinics in his first 3 months in office. Bevin and a growing majority in the state Senate are pressuring abortion providers with lawsuits, and at least 5 bills critics say could hinder access.
After some sudden snow yesterday, things are much calmer this morning. Here is meteorologist Jim Caldwell.
Yeah, after some sudden snow. We had it in the forecast, though. Remember that, Bill? Tracking a few flakes out there this morning as well. Most of this, though, is going to impact a very small area. Northeastern and northern parts of Kentucky already seeing it. And what will end up happening is it'll drift a little more toward the south, impacting you folks there in parts of Rowan County, out toward Ashland, and very light accumulations. 1/10 of an inch, maybe up to a 1/2 inch, a good possibility through those areas. Everybody else running in the mid and a few upper 30s across parts of our area. Here's just a closer look at what we're dealing with that snow. Even some brighter whites showing up, not the true bright whites that we get sometimes with some of those heavier convective bands, which usually end up in intense snow, not showing up, but you can see that most of it almost running out of steam and moisture as we move along here, and we will through the day today. Likely see our temperatures jump into the mid-40s for daytime highs and a mix of sun and clouds, probably more clouds than anything else, but we're trying our best to get there. And if we can get past today, we get to the warmer part of the forecast. Starting tomorrow, guys, we're in the 50s, into the 60s by early next week, and maybe even some 70s. There you go. Springtime tries to come. That is in the forecast, Bill, by the way.
Oh, okay. Well, well, I know you mentioned that yesterday, but you have called it an overproducer. That's what Jim was calling yesterday.
He just wants to take credit.
The snow was a super achiever yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, the kid in class that everybody doesn't like, I guess, huh? 6:24 on WKYT This Morning. Since Super Tuesday, Google says searches for how to move to Canada have jumped 1,500%.
Okay. People threatening to relocate there if Donald Trump becomes president, some of them who are not fans of his, I guess. Some think that Canadians don't want that many Americans, but Cape Breton Island in Nova Scotia does. It's gorgeous, but has a dwindling population, so they've launched a campaign for Americans to move there if Trump wins. And they've had almost 1 million hits. But I would just wonder how the housing prices are there, because it seems like, you know, it's kind of expensive to...
And it's cold there. Remember that, too,
and
right?
it's cold. So attention Star Wars fans. The Force Awakens will be available for digital download on April 1st.
Viewers can download other features as well, like deleted scenes and other material from director J.J. Abrams. The first 6 Star Wars films were made available for digital download for the first time ever last April. The Force Awakens is the highest grossing film of all time in the U.S., making more than $925 million. Well, not every 11-year-old can say that they impressed Tiger Woods with their golf game, in fact, beat him, but Taylor Crozier certainly can.
Wow, it's quite an accomplishment. The junior golfer had the teeing off honors at the kids' course in Texas, designed by Woods. On the first shot, this happened. That's right, he drained a hole-in-one right in front of Tiger. The crowd, you can hear it there, went crazy. Crozier got a big hug from Woods, who then had to follow the kid's tee shot with his own. The 11-year-old actually ended up beating Woods by 2 strokes on that hole.
Isn't that cool?
Impressive.
He'll always have that to carry around,
oh,
right?
Yeah.
Be able to say. All right, it is 6:26 on WKYT here on your Friday morning.
When WKYT This Morning returns, what the Estill County Health Department is saying about a restaurant that voluntarily closed during a salmonella outbreak.
Tonight's Mega Millions jackpot is $144 million. Saturday night's Powerball jackpot is $40 million. We're coming right back on WKYT This Morning.